Welcome back to the Garden State Outdoorsman podcast presented by Boondocks Hunting. I'm your host, Mike Nightrain.
Co-host Joe Mallet.
And co-host Kirk Rethusen.
Oh, finally we get you on, Kurt. It's been forever.
The mystery man.
The mystery is finally here.
Everyone else has been on. We finally got Kurt on, everybody. This is going to be a great episode. We're going to interview Kurt today. And then our whole team is done. We do have one other guy, one of our team members, though all of us are co-owners. Mike is a member just because, like we said in the past, he just had a kid and everything, so he couldn't get into as deeply as we are. But he is going to be on a future episode, when his schedule and, when he has to not take care of the baby and he can sneak out for like an hour or two and record with us.
Well, like we said, welcome, Kurt. Glad to finally get you on here. Why don't you go ahead and start us off this episode that's all about you by giving us a little bit of a quick background, little intro about you.
All right. Pretty much been fishing and hunting my whole life. Got into it young. My family does it. Pretty much Pops got me into it. I owe a lot to him as far as like getting into it, getting to know the basics about it, and when I was younger, it was definitely more about fishing than hunting. As I got older, it started to get more into the hunting. Now I do a little bit of both, get a little bit of both sides, little best of both worlds, do freshwater, do saltwater. Hunt, when it comes down to it, it's pretty much just deer and pheasant, pretty much. I kind of wanted to get out for some turkey hunting, some different hunting, some coyote hunting and stuff like that. But, as you guys can tell, because it's the first time I've been on the podcast, work is, priority. And at this point, I got to make the money, got to pay the bills.
Yeah, we're all going through right now. And, I know Mike got me out fishing for my first time last week. So really looking forward to getting out with you and the out there on the saltwater.
Oh, yeah, it'll be very interesting. Supposedly got a lot of tuna in close and some mahi-mahi in close, 3 miles offshore. So it's pretty early for them to be that close. But, hey, hopefully they stick around. We get on them.
I fill that freezer.
Yeah, because, I've never done too much just saltwater fishing. I've done like once or twice, but not since, at least high school, I think was the last time I went. I think maybe my sophomore year I went. And I definitely want to, all my friends, majority of them don't saltwater fish. If they do anything in the outdoors, it's freshwater fishing. So, you told us that you've been hunting and fishing since, you were young. What are some of the lessons that your father taught you about fishing and hunting? And also, did you look up to him as, a outdoorsman that, hey, I want to be, just like my father growing up?
Well, yeah, absolutely. When it comes down to it, when you say it, he's as much as everybody else says, I owe a lot to him. He taught me a lot. He taught me basic stuff, just, how to tie a knot, how to put a hook on, how to put a worm on a hook, different things like that. Like, he's pretty much been there. He's pretty much been the rock, helping me out with everything. Still to this day, if I need help with something, he's always there to help me out with it. As far as like I said, I got into hunting. I was hunting when I was younger, but I got more into hunting as I got older. When I was younger, it was pretty much just fishing, and that was just the time. It was just always a competition, like as soon as you hit that age where you could do it by yourself, that was a competition, me versus Pops versus me. So that's pretty much what it turned into. And also, I got a lot of competitive streak from him, and that competitory type thing with just that.
Yeah, and you guys are going to see the whole competitiveness between all of us when it comes to fishing and hunting once we get the YouTube channel fully up and going and videos coming, weekly. So you guys will see that.
Before this episode, we're all talking about just, what our competition's going to be, the fishing one, the hunting one, what's next. Kurt, did you play any sports growing up?
Yeah. So I pretty much played the three main sports, basketball, baseball, football. Growing up, I got into football a little older. Uh, Mom was very protective, but it comes to a certain point where boys will be boys. But yeah, definitely played a lot. Was more into baseball and basketball when I was younger, and then football took over, and then it was all year round pretty much. You had them all year.
You know,
So
unfortunately, we had a pretty good streak going with the hockey players on this team. But
some things
Kurt
are better off. Some sports are better off without me playing them.
Real quick, talk about your GoPro incident that you experienced a couple weeks ago, because this is classic you, because we're gonna go right into how we first met, and you like to lose things.
You already know how it goes. So I bought this brand new GoPro. Joe actually helped me out with it. Thanks, Joe. Bought this brand new GoPro. I never used it. Right, take it out the box, have the old accessories I bought, the whole 9 yards. Right. So the first time I'm out with it, we go out on a boat. Me and my father going out striper fishing. So we go out. Really didn't get much footage. That's why we didn't post anything. Nothing was posted about it. We went out. Within 5 minutes, I caught my first striper. And then, of course, I don't have the GoPro on at that point because I'm not even ready to start catching fish at that point. Then the rest of the day, it's dead. No fish. I caught one. The minute the GoPro came on, dead. We get back to the dock, right? We go to tie the boat up to the dock. I lean over to fix the bumper so that the boat don't smack against the dock. As I lean over, the GoPro falls into the water, right next to the dock. Brand new GoPro, didn't even download not one video off of it, splashed right in the water.
Only you, like your luck with all these things, it's unbelievable. I mean, last season it was Kurt, Ish, and I think we just got done hunting. So we all meet up at the truck, whatever, talking about this hunt, how things were going. Like, all right, like let's go get some food. This man drives off with, I think, a flashlight on top of his truck, a machete, I think, was on top of the truck. Thank God his wallet wasn't on top of the truck, but I'm pretty sure Ish had to stop and pick up all these things that kept flying off of Kurt's truck just because he completely forgot it was there.
All right, so let's get into this one. What had happened was, it was late. We got out of the woods late. It got dark, and in Jersey, you're not allowed to carry a firearm. So I always carry the biggest blade I can possibly carry because of the fact that if a 400-pound black bear comes running out and he decides to eat me, I at least have somewhat of a chance, right? So we get back to the thing. We're all joking around, all laughing, all a good time. We're all getting changed, and I was just hungry. I was just hungry. My mind was focused on just getting food. It did not matter. And I put everything on top of my truck, on the bed of my truck, because I have the cover on it, and I put everything up there. I changing out of my stuff. Finally put on my regular clothes, and I have a one-track mind, like I said. Food. That was it. Food. I've been sitting in this tree stand for like 6-7 hours, didn't see nothing. Squirrels have been barking at me the whole time. Like, I want food. That's the only thing that's gonna make me feel better. Drive off, and everything's on the back of it. Thank God Ish was behind me to pick up everything, because if not, I would have lost a lot of stuff that day.
Thank God for Ish. Thank God Ish was behind you and saw all that stuff fly off your truck, because that shit would have been gone.
Well, it seems like a lot of stuff happens to Ish anyway, because when we're tracking the deer that time, we turn around, we hear a loud thump. We turn around, you turn around, and Ish is laying on the floor because he tripped over the tree.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was hilarious. Just smack, like, and it's like we both, Kurt and I, stepped completely fine over this down tree. I don't know how, like, if he wasn't paying attention, he just whatever. I think it was raining a little bit. I'll give him a little bit. Maybe it was
raining,
right? But just eats it over it, and I wish we had it on camera because that was absolutely hilarious. But let's get into the first time we met. Yet again,
All right. So here we
loses
go.
something.
This is what 5, 6, 7 years ago.
I can't
Dude,
even. I can't.
I lost track. So I set up a tree stand out in the area that we hunt. Didn't know Mike at this point. Seen somebody in the car opening day. Me and him kind of walked in. He walked in a little earlier than me. I walked in a little after him. Don't have no idea where he went. It's dark out, right? I have a headlamp on. He has a headlamp on. Disappeared, right? And it could happen in the woods. It happens quite often that you have no idea where somebody went. So I go out in the woods and we're out there. I'm out there hunting. Nothing's going on. I have nothing going on besides, let me tell you, that year was brutal. It was absolutely brutal with mosquitoes. So I have mosquitoes eating me alive in a tree to the point where by 9 o'clock in the morning, I'm ready. I'm done. I've lost so much blood at this point. I feel woozy in the head right now because the mosquitoes got all of it at this point. So I get down, I go get some food. I come back out a little bit. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna spray myself. I don't care. So what if the deer smell me? It's better than the mosquitoes eat me alive. I go back out, get back in the tree stand, right? So now it gets about time where it starts to get dark, and mind you, like I said, I don't know Mike at this point. I'm out there by myself, and it starts to get dusk, and you hear these coyotes howling in the background. So I'm like, time for me to get out of here, right? Get out of the tree stand. I start walking, running to Mike, who just got out of his tree stand. So we're talking, we're bullshitting and whatnot, and we make it to the truck, and we turn around, and I'm looking for my phone. I have no idea where my phone went. So I'm like to Mike, hey, I'm going to go look for my phone. If you want, you come take a walk with me. So he's like, yeah, I put my bow away. I'm walking out. Mike kept his bow. Get all the way out there. And wouldn't you know it, there's the phone right under the tree stand. I apparently got out of the tree stand and it fell right out of my pocket. Either that or I had it on my lap and I forgot to put it in my pocket. And I stepped out of the tree stand and there it was. So yeah. I happen to have a habit of losing things and then finding them or somebody else finding them right after. Like I said, when I lost the GoPro off the boat, like I said, my my pops kind of helps me out a lot with a lot of different things. He went back and he ended up hooking it with a fishing line, like a bunker snag, and he ended up hooking it. So we ended up getting the GoPro back. Same thing with almost every time that I lose something around these, around people that I always seem to find and go back and get it. It's just the luck of the draw, I guess.
Yeah,
I just get lucky. A terrible experience with losing it, and then something great happens. It's like karma comes right back right then.
And it's quite funny. I guess probably if you didn't lose that phone, who knows if we would have been like such good friends. And now we got this company and everything together. But I remember we were walking, and I mean the coyotes were going crazy, and they're all in the fields. And I mean we had the spotlight, and there was one maybe 20, 30 yards, like just right in front of us, just crossing right over from the thick stuff to another set of thick stuff. I mean, you barely got to see, but you see the eyes glowing, and
like stopped too. Like we were walking up the hedgerow there, and he legit stopped and looked at us, and like no care in the world, and just kept it moving. Like just straight up looked at us, like, all right, whatever, and off he went.
Yep.
So Kurt, I talked to Mike about what his dream hunt is. We always know it's a moose hunt from Mike. Being that you're more of the fisherman, what's your dream fishing trip?
Well, I can answer that with both questions. I'll do a fishing and a hunting one. Fishing one would definitely be with the guys on a boat. Like we're definitely gonna have to charter one because my boat ain't quite big enough for it. But definitely charter a boat, go out for a couple days, out tuna fishing. Drinking beers, hanging out, everybody having a good time, playing music, everybody laughing, joking, having a good time. That'd be more of my my ideal fishing trip. mixing some mahi fishing with the tuna, but pretty much just get out there, get some yellowfin tuna.
Yeah.
That would be like ideal. And then I'll get right into hunting. My hunting one would definitely be like going somewhere and just knocking down a trophy buck and be able to put them on the wall, like just anywhere, pretty much any type of thing. Like even if it's in Jersey, it's just if you get that 12-pointer, that trophy rack, that beautiful, beautiful buck, that one you put on the wall, that's it for me. Like, but however, I would like to go somewhere out of state possibly, because then I would like everybody to come and everybody hang out, have a couple beers, hang out, drink, sit around the campfire, different things like that. Like enjoy our time, not just, rush into it, have it, enjoy the moment. You know what I mean? Everything.
Yeah.
Agree. Definitely agree with that. I mean, I put in for my moose permit up in Maine this year, like I do every year. And I mean, even, if I get it, I'm inviting everyone can come up. And I do want that. I want to be able to go up with, all you guys and camp at some of my favorite spots. I mean, I love Maine. I love being in Maine. It's my go-to place to go to, and I would love to experience that with you guys. Even if I go camping this year, with everything going on, who knows if that's going to happen? But you guys are going to always have the invite, and just doing stuff with you guys. You guys are going to meet the family and stuff like that, and we're one hell of a time. We're all together.
Yeah.
All of us are together. First of all, we're great together, and we sure as hell have some fun. I mean, you can definitely tell that Kurt is definitely the funny one in our group. We got to work on Ish because he's definitely the quiet one. But hey, to each his own. But we sure as hell have a great time and doing hunting trips together. They're definitely going to be coming. Fishing trips are going to be coming. In the future, and we're definitely going to have to record it because I can only imagine the crap that's going to be going on.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a lot of winning. I'm gonna do a lot of winning in these fishing tournaments. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that barbecue off, man. I see you got your new smoker there, man. Kurt's sending us pictures of food every freaking day now.
We can have a barbecue off. I will gladly just sit there and just eat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I know I got my Traeger and I have not stopped using that thing, so I'm all for getting together and just having a great cookout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm down for it. Like you guys just said, all I do anymore is use that smoker. So it's a good and a bad thing. It's good because I cook food all the time, and it's bad because all I do is cook food and eat. So
yeah. With that said, do you have a favorite recipe for wild game or fish?
To be honest, I don't have an over the top favorite. I'm one of those people that I just enjoy it. If it's good, I like to try all different types of recipes, all different types of ways, anywhere from being smoked fish to cooked on the grill, just like regular, put a little lemon on it, sprinkle a little garlic on it, and just wrap it up and let it cook to frying it, in a frying pan. Like all of it's good. As long as it comes out well, I'm good for everything, every type of thing. Any recipe that's where you sit there and you go, that's good. That's what I like. I like to try it all different types of ways because, you get kind of sick of it. You have it the same way every single time.
Yeah. Trying new things is always the best. So let's get into it. Another topic that I am excited to get into with you. So when you deer hunt, and you're in that stand, either bright and early or late in the evening, and we're getting to that prime time.
I know where this is going already.
We all know where Mike's going with this one.
And you hear those bells just going off. What is your first instinct to do?
Kind of want to get down under the tree stand and wring somebody's neck. Like kind of like Homer Simpson does the Bart Simpson. With the, that's what I want to do to some people, because you really have to be, some kind of stupid or something to come out at that time. Like if you come out at 12 noon on Saturday, Sunday, going out working your dogs in the field, I get it. Totally get it. I understand. It's the middle of the day, 1, 2, middle of the day. But when you're literally 30 minutes before sunset, you're out there walking your dog, yelling at the top of your lungs for your dog. Come on. If you're a hunter, which that's the fields are set up, right? They're set up for dog training areas. So if you're a hunter, which you should be at that point if you're out in the field, you should know better that if it's hunting season, that's the ideal time to be out there. It's early morning or right before the sun sets is when your deer is going to move, especially in the hotter days, like it's starting to cool off or it's right before it gets hot, they're moving. And, you as a hunter should know that. And if you're out there making a racket in the woods, messing up our hunts, especially I have it a lot, no matter how far in the woods I go. And I could be in 2-3 miles. And for some reason, I always get that one guy that finds me. He can always find me. I'm like, I must have like a magnet attached to me or something because their dog comes running right under the stand, running all around. And there's nothing I could do. I countless times have had deer walking in and literally about to take the shot, about to pull back, and here comes the dog, and the deer just hops away. And it's a shame because as a hunter, you should know the difference, and you shouldn't do that to other hunters. Because if you're a bird hunter training your dog, how would you like it if I walked in front of you when a bird jumped up and stopped you from shooting? Because you would have to shoot me to shoot your bird. It's not right. I would never do that. Me I bird hunt too, but I would never do that. So why would you do that to me as a deer hunter? It's no common courtesy anymore. Unfortunately.
Perfectly said. I mean, it, it doesn't happen like I've said in the past. It does not happen nearly as often. It just seems like every single time Kurt has a problem with somebody walking their dog, training their damn dog, and this has been going on for years. And I remember he had one stand last year and he moved it and he's like, yes, like this it's deep in the back. Like did a first morning hunt, we're all out there together, and the action was actually great. I mean, it was great for me. I mean, I had deer moving all over. It was I think it was like the first we had the first cold front come through of the year, and perfect timing. And all of a sudden Kurt sends me a text and goes, I can't take it anymore. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm moving out this area. I don't want to have anything to do with this spot anymore. I'm done. And gets down and moves his stand that day, and we go set up a whole completely other stand. Then it sucks. It's comical also when you look back at it, but not right when it's happening. It definitely is not. But when you look back at it, it's hilarious.
Oh, it makes it better because it always happens to me. It seems like I'm out there. I remember that day perfect, right? I'm out there, like you said, it's one of the first cold fronts that we had come through. I'm freezing in a tree stand, and I'm sitting out there 2 hours before sunrise just so I could be out there at that point, freezing. And when did you know it? The minute sun comes up, there's a dog literally sitting right under my tree stand, and the guy is yelling from literally 200 yards away for his dog that's sitting there looking up at me as I'm looking down at it. Like, I just froze for 2 hours to have not a deer walk in, but your dog. It's comical, but it's very frustrating.
So, talk about your pheasant hunting experience.
So I kind of hunt pheasant the same area that I hunt deer. There's fields and then there's woods. Pheasant hunting when I first started hunting the area was great. Past couple of years, they've been kind of moving different stocking areas, kind of taking birds out of the area. So hasn't been too good, but which in my opinion is making it worse because you have people that are going crazy now for one bird because they spent $40 on a pheasant stamp and now they're going crazy trying to run after one bird, and it seems like, people have to remember at the end of the day, it's literally just a pheasant. If you don't have a shot or if it's not in your lane, just, it is what it is. There's not that many birds out there at this point. They're not stocking them. They're only stocking them in certain areas, heavily. If it is what it is, but it seems like the same crazy people out there walking their dogs are the same crazy people doing crazy things during pheasant season. So it goes hand in hand, you know.
I can imagine. When did you start? What age did you start pheasant hunting?
I want to say probably in my early 20s. I got really into pheasant hunting. Now, mind you, I've been out in the woods when my pops, when he was hunting when I was younger, walking with him, doing the whole pheasant hunting thing with him. Never officially took the test to become a licensed hunter, but definitely was out with him a lot. Learned a lot from him. Learned how to look, where to look, what they kind of look for, what they kind of run to. That's where I kind of learned a lot of that stuff from. But yeah, I didn't really get into it officially by myself until probably late 20s or early 20s. Sorry, early 20s.
Is pheasant the only bird you hunt, or do you go duck or anything like that?
I've tried to go duck hunting and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't have the patience to sit by the water that long. Like if I'm bird hunting, like deer hunting is completely different. I know I got to sit there in the tree stand and I got to wait for them to come in. But pheasant hunting is one of the best things for me because I get a group of buddies that go out. We all go out and we don't. It doesn't matter how loud you are, or how much you're joking or ragging on each other because you missed a shot. It's one of those things. You don't got to be quiet. Duck hunting is kind of like deer hunting, except you're sitting there and by the water and you're quiet. So I tried it once or twice, but never had success. Wasn't really my thing. So that's pretty much that. I mean, I'll do it. I will do it again if we get a group of guys together, because whoever misses their shot's getting ragged on at that point. There's no holding back.
I don't know who that's gonna be. Might be all of us, honestly.
So, Kurt, did you grow up in New Jersey, or moved around at all, or mostly just New Jersey born and raised?
New Jersey born and raised.
What
Haven't been anywhere else, other than when I was away. But other than that,
yeah. What are some of your favorite spots to get outdoors in New Jersey? Not specifically for hunting or fishing. So, talk to Mike. He likes to go up to the Gap and do some hiking and stuff like that.
Believe it or not, it really depends. It depends on the thing. Like, if it's beautiful out, I'm normally fishing. So normally it's nothing but fishing. But I honestly, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter to me as long as I'm outside. I'm big outside. Whether it's out with a motorcycle, out on the boat, out fishing, really doesn't matter as long as I'm out. And I'm one of those people that if I'm going freshwater fishing, I'll hit the same holes up. I'll hit the same water spots up and stuff like that. But I always like to experiment and go different places and try different things. And like we went out, as a matter of fact, we went out and tried a different lake that I have never been to, had no idea it was there. Actually Googled it and found it, and we went out. I mean, we didn't really catch anything there. A couple sunnies, a small bass, but other than that, it really wasn't that much. But there was people there that have told us there is fish there. So looks like a nice lake. Eventually be back and hit it up a little bit better than we did today. It was kind of like a last minute thing, kind of ran out of some time, some daylight, but it's definitely readjust, bring some different equipment and see how we deal with it.
Nice. I know we've also talked about getting out, doing some kayak kayak fishing. Was that something your dad got you into, or is that something you kind of found on your own?
Well, so the thing is, I originally bought my kayak. Me and my father bought a kayak together, and we originally were going out in the bay in different areas and different lakes and stuff. Just going out fishing. It was like a little add-on to be able to do that. You're not stuck on the land. You can only fish so much on the land. You get in a kayak, you're able to go out different places and different things, and that's pretty much, we kind of got into it together, did it together. But as far as like now, it's more of a thing that I'm kind of pushing. I kind of want to go down south, I know down by the Delaware Water Gap down there. Some of those lakes down there, they're starting to have problems with snakehead. So I heard they're pretty good eating, and we're allowed to take them. So I'm definitely waiting for some warmer weather and put the kayak in the back of the truck and drive on down there and see if we can catch some. It's going to be interesting. Never caught one in my life, so that's the goal this year for the summer for me.
Yep, I will definitely be down to do that, and it's a fish that I've always wanted to go fishing for.
Yeah, I've seen them on what is it? Jeremy Wade show?
Yeah, yeah,
River Monsters. Yeah,
yeah.
they look crazy. So
Yeah, it's just crazy to me because the northern snakehead looks nothing like the ones in Florida. The ones in Florida had like the spots on them. The ones up here, like they're like it's weird looking. They're like a little bit of mix between like almost like a pike or a pickerel. You know, they kind of have that coloring, except they're a snakehead. You know, it's kind of weird. But like I said, I heard they're pretty good eating, so I'm kind of excited for it. Try it out. Like I said, I'm always trying new stuff. So
yeah.
What's your most embarrassing hunting moment? Do you have one? Do you even have one?
I don't know if
Do
the
you get
most.
embarrassed or do you care?
I think probably one of the most embarrassing ones was when I dropped my phone on my thing, because that was like how stupid can you be? You know, like you dropped your phone. Out of all the things you could possibly drop, you know, a knife, your rangefinder, different things like that. Like the number one thing, the number one tool in 90% of people's hunting experiences, use your phone for everything. Whether it's you send a message so you know how long ago you shot the deer. Right after you shot the deer, you take a picture to know what's the area the deer was the deer you shot was in. You know,
On it.
you got maps on it to know exactly where you are to help you get out of the woods and find your way when it's dark out if you're unfamiliar with the area. I mean, just all of it. Like, you know, you do everything on it nowadays, and that's the one thing I lost out of the tree stand. You know, pretty much other than that, the only one I could think of is pretty much it's not really embarrassing. It's more of a like a gut wrenching one when you hit, you know, you take your shot and you thought you hit a nice shot and it actually wasn't as nice. You know, it's kind of like rough. It's not really embarrassing. It's more like a learning experience. So like,
Disappointing too.
yeah, it's more of a disappointing thing. Like, you know, you're kind of upset because you didn't hit as good as a shot, and you know now you have something suffering. You know, it's kind of one of those things. It's not really as much as a disappointment as much as like you're just disappointed in yourself because you needed to make a better shot. And you know, it's pretty much one of those learning things. Like, don't let your adrenaline get the best of you. Don't let your emotions get the best of you. Practice more. Practice shooting more. You know, it's numerous things like control your breathing, things that you have no idea that you're doing, and at the time because your emotions are running crazy because you have something walked in, and this is what you've been waiting for. It's not like it happens every once in a while. It's the one thing that happens, and here it comes, and you know, you shot a little left or right, or you didn't control your breathing, you didn't have it set right, you know, or something out of your control, like you hit a twig or something, and it just ricocheted the arrow the wrong way. It's it's not really as much embarrassing as it is much more as like a disappointment, you know.
Yeah. We got another story to tell, you know, and this one by far is my favorite story to tell people.
I think I know you're going with this
It's
too.
kind of like unbelievable, and I wish we had it on camera because this would have gone viral, and we would have been probably famous a long time ago. Right?
I think I know where you're going with this, but it's definitely one that if I wasn't me, I may not believe it. You know, if I wasn't the person there, it's rough to hear. You know, it's like, no way. You know, like when you first hear it at first, it's like, nah, no way. But then you have both of us to have the exact same story, and it's like, maybe.
Yeah. You want to lead this one off?
Uh, well, you could start it because you could start your experience of like how you ended up in the situation that you ended up in, and I'll tell my side of the story because you pretty much would give more of a thing like of getting down out of your stand and then getting to that point, and then
Yeah.
I can take it from there.
Yeah. So you know, do you remember what the reason why I got down?
You got down to walk the field. I just got done with my motorcycle accident, so I was
Uh,
barely able to walk.
yeah. So, all right, I got out of the stand a little early. You know, I like to, you know, sometimes walk the stand, especially if the hunt's going by, you know, really slow and nothing's moving. You know, those fields are, you know, they do get busy, and I do enjoy stalking deer. And it's a huge adrenaline rush, and it's very exciting for me. Also, Kurt had just got, that was his first hunt, I think, since his motorcycle accident, which he ended up tearing his ACL, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, so I had some pretty severe damage. Completely shredded my ACL, tore my meniscus. Those are the two big things that I needed surgery for, on top of splintering cartilage. Them had to shave it down, pick out pieces. I slightly tore my MCL also, which didn't need surgery. They said just let it heal on its own. Hopefully it does. Up to this point, I'm pretty sure it has healed up pretty nice. But yeah, they damage. I kind of didn't really break anything as much as, like, sprinted cartilage and things like that, but definitely destroyed the ligaments in the knee.
Yeah,
But
I mean, this man was messed up, and I mean, maybe a couple weeks before that, I had to drag out this humongous doe by myself while he just stood there because he couldn't even bend down. But we're not gonna get into that story.
I'm limping the whole way. I'm like barely on
exhausting.
one leg. Mike calls me up and is like, "Hey, my light kind of just ran out of batteries," and I'm
My
like,
spotlight died.
barely walking. And I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'll be up. Don't worry." Yeah, I come up there and I give him lights and stuff, but I feel bad because I can't help him drag this thing out. And here I am limping, barely have a leg under me, and he's out there and he's struggling. This thing was huge. This is one of the biggest does I've seen almost my whole life. It was massive.
She was a big girl.
Mike actually said he brought it to the butcher where we get our deer butchered, and she was bigger than some of the bucks in there that people had hanging.
Yeah. So, I mean, let's get to the story before we get too much off topic. But so, and him being with the ACL and everything, I was like, listen, let me get down and meet up with him at his stand, and we'll walk back together. And I'm heading down, and maybe like a couple hundred yards before I get to his stand, there's a deer that's crossing right into the thicket where he can't see, but I'm like, hey, listen, there's a deer, like like it's coming somewhere towards you, and he never saw it at all. So I continue to keep going, and I get to a turn, and I see Kurt about probably 80 yards off onto my left up in a tree, and I start walking towards him, and all of a sudden, behind him, about 30 yards behind him, there's this buck just standing right there, and I've closed the distance to Kurt, so now maybe I'm 30 yards to where Kurt is, and I'm like, oh no, like, damn, what the hell do I do? So I drop immediately to the ground, just dropped, and I'm like, I'm trying to point to him, like, there's a deer, and I'm making, like, trying to, like, the antlers, like I have antlers.
So at this point, right, this is from my point of view, right, at this point. So Mike gets to this point. So Mike gets out of his tree stand. He texts me, hey, I'm getting out of the tree stand. I'm going to walk the fields, and I'm going to end up over by you. I said, all right, cool. Sounds good. He messaged me when first seeing that deer walking through the thicket. Hey, there's a deer coming your way. I don't see it at all. I've never seen it. So when he walks around this like little turn area, and he walks up, he's like 40 yards, and here this buck is standing there, literally looking right at him. And like he does this whole like antler thing with his head and his hands, like he like looks at me and does this antler thing and then points. And I can't see it. The deer's behind me in the thick. Like I cannot see this thing at all. And like he said, he lays down on the ground, and I'm in a tree stand, and now I'm like hanging out of the tree stand to see what he's talking about at this point. Like, what do you see at this point? So I'm hanging out of the tree stand looking, I still don't see it. So I step back in the tree stand, and he's laying on the ground. He's got his head up, and he keeps putting his head down, head up, head down. And lo and behold, it felt like forever, but it probably was like 10 minutes. This deer comes walking out. This buck, it's a 6-pointer, comes walking out. Didn't have the biggest rack, but had a nice big body on him. Real nice big body. And he goes walking out, and he's broadside the whole time with me. He's looking right to see where Mike is, what was Mike, has no idea, right? So I draw back on his deer, getting ready to punch one through him, and I draw back, and my tree stand creaks. And the deer turns and looks right at me. So I'm like, it's over. It's busted. So Mike, as he hears that, he picks his head up to look, and now the deer sees him move his head and turns back broadside to look at where Mike is. And as he turned, the minute he gave me another broadside shot, I let it rip, smacked him. He starts running towards Mike. Mike jumps up, thinking he's going to get trampled, starts to run. The deer takes a hard left, runs right through the thick stuff, runs into these like sticker bushes, jumps up over them, and you just hear a loud thump like a crash. And that was it. So we get down at a tree stand, we give it a little bit, we go out there and we're looking for him. So we get out there, we're following him, and of course, like I said, he jumped over to like this thick sticker bush area thing. So we walk out and around, and literally there he is right over. He must have did his last jump over it and crashed right down right there, and that's where he was. So now here I am, Mike's helping me, hobbling on one leg, trying to pull this deer out with Mike, and it's like through thicker bush stuff, getting scraped up. You know, we're dragging this deer out, and then I have to gut it, and I'm like trying to kneel down on one knee, not my bad knee, because my knee's killing me. Now it's getting cold out, and it's just a whole big thing. So, needless to say, it's like one of a million opportunities. I mean, if this was recorded, first of all, everybody'd be laughing because of how stupid I look dragging a deer out. But everybody would just not believe the fact that it worked out the way it did. Like, you think that this deer would turn around and ran away, but it seemed like he was so curious to see what Mike was laying down on the ground that he walked right into the line of fire at that point.
Yeah, I mean, that deer closed, the gap, which to us felt like forever, especially to me. I'm lying on the ground and my heart rate is going because this deer keeps getting closer and closer and closer. He definitely closed within, 10 to 15 yards in front of me. And I knew it as soon as he let that arrow go and I heard the thud. The thud. I was like, this is it. This deer is going to run right over me. And I think if I didn't get up, he probably would have. But as soon as I jumped up because I was scared shitless, the deer made a hard left. And then from there, it was history. I mean, that's probably one of my favorite deer hunting stories, and I definitely didn't want to spoil it and say it in earlier episodes. So I wanted to save this one for us. But I mean, what a crazy experience! It was the adrenaline rush was amazing. I mean, I loved it. If we could do that again, that'd be great. But I don't think that'll ever happen again. The fact that the curiosity killed that deer. That's for sure.
Absolutely. He was just fully engaged in seeing what you were. Mind you, it was starting the beginning of rut, so he was amped up. He came in, he was amped, he was ready to go at something. And I've definitely had pictures in that area of deer coming out and bigger deer around too, bigger bucks. Mind you, it was the end of fall season, starting to get into permit season, so it was kind of at the end. It was a rough season for me because, like I said, I didn't hunt much because of the accident.
That was your last hunt, right? I think.
Yeah, that was my last hunt because then shortly after that, I had to go through therapy to be able to get the surgery, and then once I got the surgery, my hunting season was over for that year. I mean, it took me a while to be able to walk right again and be able to have the strength to be able to go out there and even just put corn out, put feed out. In Jersey, we're a lot, like you guys said in early episodes, like you're a lot of bait. So it was even rough for me to be able to carry out corn or drag out corn. So.
Yeah.
So Kurt, you mentioned, you grew up hunting with your dad and everything like that. What advice would you have for a first year person just learning to hunt?
So there's a bunch of different things that in your first year, you have no idea. You're excited, but you have no idea. You have no idea what to look for. You stumble across things. You think there's good areas when you have no idea. The best thing you can possibly do is get familiar with the land. Constantly practice your shot. Get familiar with the land. Go out there and see where your signs are. See where the deer are moving through. Look for your areas. I mean, me personally, I hunt thick stuff. I love thick stuff. Mike will tell you that. he hates looking for deer with me because if I shoot a deer, it of course ran into the thickest part that it could possibly. I'm crawling on my hands and knees to get to these deer because I love hunting thick stuff.
Don't get me wrong, I like it too, but this man, I mean, he definitely. I like enclosed shots, but which is when I mean, those 15-yard chip shots. Kurt's really looking at these damn like 5 to 7-yard chip shots, right in the pines too. He always picks the pines. He loves the pines, and don't get me wrong, great spot to hunt. And his stands, they work perfectly well for him. They're, at least you could say, they're well covered. You can move a little bit, and not have to worry as much getting picked out by that really mature doe who just, blows at everybody else.
It's funny that you say that because I've had mature does literally walk right on the stand, never give me a shot because I'm literally sitting on top of them. I could probably jump out of the tree with a knife in my teeth and probably take him out better that way than I could shoot the bow at him at that point. But they literally walk right under me and have no idea, and it's great. It's just terrible when you have that doe that you want, that big doe that always blowing, always the wind blowing the wrong way or something. Like, she always knows you're there, and there she is underneath your tree stand, and never gives you a shot, never goes out there, never sends her little yearlings out there, her little babies out there. Like, go ahead, go out there and eat away, because if you die, I'm not dying. But she will never go out there. It's one of those things. And like I said, I've had times where they had no idea I was in the tree. Could have jumped out the tree and got him. I should have. It would have been a great story. Jump out of it with a camera on me or something. But,
yeah, you imagine.
Speaking of your setup and then walking to the tree stand, what does your setup usually look like at each of your locations?
I am pretty much like Mike said. If you find a pine tree, if there's one pine tree in the whole woods, that's probably where my stand is at this point. I love being in the pine trees. I loved having that sealed cover, that concealment. Even if I have one shooting lane out of that tree, and they got to be out there in that one shooting lane, I'd rather take that than sitting in pretty much just a bare tree, because in the September time, it's great. You have leaves. Leaves are there. It's great. The minute it gets cold, there's nothing in the tree but you. I mean, you better hope for a lot of branches and a lot of trees to break up your silhouette, because either that or put up some type of blind on different sides, because if not, you're out there. They can see you. You're a silhouette target sitting in a tree stand that's not literally on the tree. So they'll see you. I would tell any first year hunter to just make sure they're concealed, and safety is the number one thing. Don't do anything crazy. And just know the land, know your shot placement. If one gets away, you don't got to rush it. There's always going to be another opportunity. Don't rush a shot. Don't get too jumpy. If it ain't perfect, it's all right. There'll be another opportunity. Just let it slide. It's just one of those things. If the deer just turns and looks at you, and you're pulled back already, and it ain't turning, and you're starting to get tired, your best thing is just let off, let that bow back down. Don't let the arrow rip, because you ain't gonna have a good shot. It's not gonna be a good kill, and it's not something you want to deal. I mean, everybody makes bad shots. You're gonna make your bad shot. It's gonna happen. Just don't get discouraged about it. But if you could try to stop it, do everything in your power to stop that bad shot. You don't want to see that animal suffer, especially taking a bad shot, especially a shot you knew you shouldn't have taken.
Yeah, especially as a first-year hunter, wounding a deer or hitting a deer far back in the guts and stuff, it might honestly turn you off to hunting. Like, it's an experience that
smell.
Yeah, not only that, right? Just knowing that you shot something, and you might not find it, and it's sitting out there suffering and it's hurt, or and also the smell of rupturing that gut.
Yep.
Oh my God. I mean, it's disgusting,
Your best possible thing is to let it sit a couple hours. It's going to suffer, and I mean, they tell you to give it hours and hours and hours, pretty much come back the next day and find water, because they're probably going to go to water to drink. But, if you you go out in a couple hours, depending on how hurt that deer is, depending on how far back you hit it. If you nick some liver, you can find it. It's going to be curled up in a ball somewhere. The best thing is if you could find it and put another arrow in it, or whatever the case is, and just to put it out of its misery quicker than later. That's the number one thing. I mean, also don't be discouraged. I mean, bad shots happen. It's part of the thing. The only thing you can do is learn from it. Learn to control yourself, learn to control your emotions, practice more. I can't beat it enough because it's literally what it is, and some people think, oh, I practice a little bit and I'm hitting good on targets, but you have to be hitting excellent on targets, because when you're in that tree stand, the wind's blowing, there's different things going on, your adrenaline's pumping. It's not shooting at a target no more. You're shooting at a live thing. There's a lot of emotions run through at that point, especially new never did it before. It happens even with me when big bucks come in. If I even if I don't have a shot, my adrenaline's pumping so much when a big buck walks by, even if I never have a shot at him, just because I know that's a deer I want.
Yep.
I mean, I've been going over, Joe, how many times in the last couple episodes, the adrenaline still gets me, especially when those big bucks are coming, and it screwed up my shots, and like I said before, on does, I've, for the most part, my shooting percentage on does is high. I mean, I've only not harvested one doe, and that was 2 years ago when I was dealing with my shoulder problem, and I hit far back and low, and we could never find her. I mean, we went out that night, tried to find her. Kurt came back home and helped me the next day. We could not find her. We lost the blood, and it's such a crappy feeling, and it's not like it's not going to turn me off to hunting, because listen, I love this without a doubt, and it's a part of it, and we're going to show you guys that it's a part of it. If we screw up and we make a bad shot, you guys are going to know about it. We're not going to be like those other hunting companies and videos, and you look at the Outdoorsman channel and all these big brands. They're only they're killing deer after deer or animal after animal. Very rarely do they show a bad shot or a time where they're going months without harvesting a deer.
Yep.
We're gonna show you guys that we make bad shots. I've been there for some of Kurt's bad shots. Kurt's been there for some of my bad shots. Joe so far has got off his first year of hunting without a problem. But the good thing I will say about Kurt's 2 bad shots from the last 2 years, we've actually found both those deer, and the deer bedded, honestly,
20 yards,
maybe 20 yards, but did a whole damn loop that sent us on a crazy trail, but
walked 2 miles to find them 30 yards away from the stand. Yep.
And bedded down, and she didn't want to go anywhere because it was a liver shot. I think with a touch of the gut, or a gut shot with a touch of the liver, but she, they were hurting and they didn't want to go far. Even with us being, maybe couple of the deer we got 10 yards in front of, and we're trying to get to it, and we couldn't because it was just so thick that.
Oh, yeah, I love that thick stuff.
she just wasn't moving, But don't assume that, hey, you know what, let's go out and find this deer, because most of the time, listen, these deer do run, and you do bump them. We got lucky, and these 2 deer they didn't want to move, and they just bedded down right there. And one of them we did call the warden for, because it was at night and we couldn't put another arrow in her at night, and he came and dispatched the doe. The other one, Kurt, I believe, left, and you went to go get food and and you had a crazy experience, with that one.
So let's get into that one too, because that was another crazy experience. So I shot this doe. I hit her a little further back, hit her, nicked the liver. So again, walked in a circle, came back out, found this deer. She was still a little jumpy, so I give her a little bit. I was gonna come back and stick her. Went to go get food, gave it a little bit of time, came back, woke up. It's in between, it's still picking its head up, but it's still moving a little bit, but it's pretty much done. I walk up, I stick her with the knife right right behind the the rib cage there where the lungs are. Hear the lungs give out. Couple minutes, she's gone. So we're sitting there. I'm sitting there waiting for it, right? Waiting to make sure that she's good. She's gone. I don't want to walk over there, injured animal, and end up injured myself. But I hear something in the woods, right? I have my other buddy there with me, and he swears. Now there's a road. At this point, we tracked her. She kind of moved to the road, closer to the road, but there's a road probably 200 yards, away, 200, 300 yards away, and you hear cars. You'll hear cars. It's one of those things. So now, from where my stand is to the road, she moved closer to the road. So now we're again 200, 300 yards away from where she is to the road. So we hear this growling. He swears it's growling. I'm thinking it's a car going by. I'm like, man, it's a muffler. There's nothing out here growling at us. All the noise we just made. He's swearing by it, right? So I'm like, all right, well, let's hear if we hear it again. Sure enough, now I hear it, and there's something growling at us, and it's thick. It's thick stuff. Like I said, I love the thick stuff. Love to hunt the thick stuff. It's thick. You can't see it. I got light shining in this direction. Can't see it. So I'm like, yo, dude, grab one leg. I grab one leg. We'll move her towards closer to the road. We'll drag her out. Get 100 yards away from the road in an open area, more of an open area, and and gut her and do what we got to do. This way, we have a little bit more room to work with without something being there. So he grabs one end, I grab the other end, grab leg. And we run. We not run, but we move. We move out of the area. We get her to an open area. We put her down. Now I'm getting ready to gut her, and here comes this growling again. It's coming out of the woods again, coming out of the thick stuff. So I take the light, and now like I said earlier, I have this big machete on me / knife because there's black bear out there and the whole 9 yards. And I know 90% of the time, if you hear teeth chattering, probably a bear, but normally if a growling, it sounds more like a dog. It's probably a coyote. So I go over there with the flashlight. I'm looking in, and I see the eyes of coyote looking at me, and I go to run to try to stick it because it's like literally like 5 yards away from me. It takes off running. And that was the end of it. It never came back. That was the end of it. I scared it off, but it was content. If I didn't get there in the time that I did, that coyote would have had my deer, and they would have dragged it off or something. It would have been half eaten by the time I got back. I just got there at the right time. Because if not, I would have a little upset. We would have been coyote hunting later on that year, definitely. And you're going to take my deer. We're going to take you at that point. We're coming for you.
That is something we're definitely getting into next year. Is we're going to be going full blown with the predator hunting it next winter. Because our hunting spots are the number of coyotes, and we talked about it in the Zane interview, which will be dropping very shortly. But the numbers are just they're spiking, and we have to do something about it. Jersey has to do something about it. Jersey has to open up the coyote hunts and make it all year round. Up in Maine they have it all year round. We've gone out camping, and hey, we should see a coyote. We got a gun on us. Boom. Got a dead coyote. Do something. Don't let these coyotes just grow out of control until something bad happens.
I mean, the coyotes, and then we got the bears that even though we can't do that in Jersey, it's just getting crazy on the cameras. I know Kurt. I think the first day that I got added to the group chat and everything, there was a video of you throwing a water bottle as a bear scurried up towards your stand there to scare it away.
Yeah. I had a bear come in. It's always something. It's craziness going on, and I have this bear, this probably like 2-year-old bear, come in, and it's content with coming over and eating my salt blocks and my corn that's out, and he's ready. The dinner bells rang. He's got his napkin tucked in. He's ready. He's sitting down. And I'm trying to get him away from it. And I'm throwing things at him in the stand. I'm making noise, throwing at him. Like, at this point, my deer hunt's over anyway, because there ain't no deer going to come in with him sitting there eating anyway. So I'm throwing things at him. And I'm throwing a water bottle at him. Literally almost hit him with a water bottle. He runs 5 feet, turns around, and comes back. He did not care. He did not care that I was sitting in the stand. He did not care that I was throwing things at him. There was nothing that was affecting this bear. This bear was there, and he said, "Your food is not my food. You know, it's it. Like, this is mine. I'm eating." And he's there for 10, 15 minutes, ate a little bit, and finally left. Thank God, because that's the thing is I didn't want him there as much as he, as much as probably he didn't want me there. But yeah, no, I've he was definitely one of the smaller ones I've seen. I've had 400 plus pound bears walk by at 20 yards, 15, 20 yards, look up at me in the stand and just kind of keep walking, like, don't care that you're there, and it's a little eerie at times, especially like when you're getting down on the ground and you're walking, knowing that a bear just walked by. Towards the end of the day or the beginning of the day when you first got there and you walk up in that tree stand, you hear something in the thing, and you could tell it's not no deer. There's tree branches breaking. He's walking through it and knocking everything out of his way.
Yeah, no, the bear problem's getting out of hand. I mean, you have a monster one on camera. I had a bear this morning when I checked my spy point. Yet again, a bear this morning.
Same here.
When you went out today, Kurt, to drop, I think some corn and to put some batteries in your stand at our one of our spots. Kurt's in the pines yet again, and he's about 600 yards, away from me, at minimum, and right before you got out there, I had a little one, probably maybe a 2-year-old, the smallest one I've seen so far this year, but the number just keeps going up, and the encounters, just keep going up.
Yep.
It's, our governor's going to have to make that decision, to open up the bear hunting because, eventually, gosh forbid, someone's going to get mauled.
Well, that's the thing. Unfortunately, with that, Mike, not to cut you off, but we have a governor that's not in the state of New Jersey right now. He's totally against it. We had the bear hunt. He took it away. We had that. And he's so against it. I'm amazed he didn't try to end deer hunting at this point. Even our firearm laws are one of the strictest in the country, and he's just trying to make it worse. It's not good for hunters and things like that. Like, in my opinion, it's not a good look. I mean, like you said, how long is it till somebody gets mauled? How long is it until one of those 400 pounders comes over somebody's fence and decides their dog in the backyard is lunch? I mean, people are getting a little sidetracked. They're in their garbage or eating their garbage and things like that, and they think it's fine, but that's a 400-pound monster. It's not something that you're going to win a hand-to-hand combat battle with. It's made to take things out.
These are killing machines.
I love bears. I do. I have such a great respect for them. And when we're out turkey hunting, we saw that bear. We just sat there and you just watched it. But just like with every other animal, you have to manage it. And with us just taking more and more and more force, away from these animals, we have to keep the number under control, or terrible things are going to happen. And listen, people, if you're against hunting, okay, that's your right, but you're not, majority of the time you're not out in the woods. You're not having encounters with these bear. And it's not like we're shooting it and leaving them. We're taking the meat. We're taking the fur. We're not just, same with the people who have problems with deer hunting. It's not like we're shooting deer and just leaving them. We're shooting them, and guess what? That's going in our freezer so we can feed us and our family.
Yep.
And my friends who want meat, and I know, Joe, you like to use definitely everything. I do want to start getting into tanning hides and stuff like that, but and I imagine you give some of the bones to the dogs, and whatever you don't take from the deer, you give to the dogs, but everything goes to use. It's not like we're wasting it.
Let's face it, they can't be hypocrites, right? The only real people that should ever have a problem with hunting are people that don't eat meat. If you eat meat, then you're a hypocrite, because some way, somehow, whether you know it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you want to own up to it or not, that animal's dying in some way, some shape or form for you to get it on your plate. And that's really what it comes down to. Just because I'm willing to go out and get mine and do it myself, you should not have a say in it because you're letting somebody do it for you. You're pretty much letting somebody do the dirty work for you to have it. Just because you went out to the store and bought it doesn't mean that it didn't suffer worse than any hunter will ever hunt an animal. Like, who's to say? You guys see it all the time. There's people are out there filming it, showing like all these bad things and how slaughterhouses handle things and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not against all this stuff, and I believe that a lot of it's made up and a lot of it's faked. A lot of it's, just not everything is like that. You have your some and you have your some that are good and some that are bad. But you can't be a hypocrite at the end of the day, right? You can't say hunting is bad and this, that, and other thing. If you eat meat, you really shouldn't have a say at the end of the day, in my opinion. You can't tell me that what I do is wrong, but you're going to the grocery store buying loads of meat.
Agreed.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to your thing about the dogs and the pheasant hunters. There's going to be bad apples in everything we do.
Yeah,
absolutely. But that's even with the, like I said, even with the the places that butcher the animals. You have good places, you have bad places. You see on TV some of the real bad ones, and it gives a bad name to butchers. And then some of the ones are so they don't even know what's happening. Like that's the thing is everything is completely different. You have different ways about it. And like you said, there's good hunters, there's bad hunters, good places, good butchers, good bad butchers. There's everything, good people, bad people.
It's everyday life. Like, I mean, look at what's going on right now. You got good police and you got bad police. Yep. Unfortunately, the bad police are outshining, the good police, because there's way more good, than bad. It's just how do we weed out these bad? And listen, I work in the medical field. There are good doctors and there are bad doctors. There are good nurses and there are bad nurses. Wherever you do, whatever profession you're in, whatever you do in this life, there are good and there's bad. Stop letting always the bad outshine the good. And I think that's part of the problem. They only want to focus on the bad, just like with with this police brutality thing and this guy being murdered. Yes, those were 4 bad cops that did a terrible job and they murdered someone, right? But you cannot say, oh, let's go out and kill cops and screw the police and da-da-da, because that's not majority of the police. Why are you judging a very, very, very small group, right? And even if you add all these cops that have done bad things, that's still such a small group. That's nowhere even close to being the majority of law enforcement.
Yeah, it's what the media focuses on. Nobody focuses on the good stuff.
Nope.
It doesn't cause controversy, doesn't get people talking, so they focus on the negative.
Same with the coronavirus. Look at this. What do you hear? You only hear the bad thing. You do not hear, you'll hear, this amount of people died today, but you do not hear about, this many were discharged today, because the discharge number is much higher than the death toll.
Yep.
But yeah, we can get on to that political crap another day. Let's finish this interview. Kurt, do you have any other last words before we head off for the day?
No, I think we covered most of it. I'm excited to be back on more of these episodes. We'll definitely have to try to work them in. I know it's a little rough with my work schedule right now, but looking forward to jumping on some more and cracking some jokes and having a good time on this.
Yeah.
Said looking forward to getting everybody in person.
Yeah, I know. We still have yet to even get everyone, because Ish worked very late today. I know he was away in Alabama, and he's a supervisor at his place, and he said they didn't do damn crap when he was gone. So of course he had to come back and he had to handle it all, which sucks. But I can't wait till we can get all together, do some fishing, do some when hunting season starts, and make some episodes for you guys together as a group, and hopefully we'll be able to do all this in person some point in this summer. We really do want to be in person for all this, with the computers. It's fun and everything, but I guarantee it's going to be way more better. The the sound will sound all. Wow, the sound will sound. The background noise, everything like that. We won't have that. Everyone's gonna be on one, on each other's mics, and you're gonna get that perfect clear sound coming out, and some good content coming forward.
Yep, one of which is Kurt buying his new bow, so we're excited to have him go through that process.
Oh yeah,
for the bow build.
That's the thing. I'm on the fence about. That was another thing I totally forgot to touch on. Any of our listeners that have some experience with it and have some different reviews and stuff like that. I'm actually looking at the top bows right now, whether it's Matthews, Hoyt, Bowtech. I'm kind of leaning more towards the Bowtech, the new Bowtech, the Revolt. I don't know. I just had a lot of reviews about it. I want to get out and shoot them all, but as far as right now, that's the one. It seems like I'm leaning more towards. It's definitely time for me to get a new bow.
Yep.
So kind of excited for that to happen, and we'll get out shooting and practicing and get ready for the season. Can't wait.
Yep, get you dialed in.
Yeah, I can't wait, guys. If you guys have any questions for us, any thing you specifically want to hear, please email us. We will put the email down in descriptions when we post this episode. You can always hit up our Instagram. I definitely, if I'm not working, I will definitely respond. I tend to, talk the most also in the group chat also, to get everyone on the same page,
If it comes through email, that's where I live all day long, way more than I would like to. So
trust me, we will get back to you guys. Any questions, concerns you guys have, we will get to it. Anything specific you want to hear, we will get to it. If you want to help Kurt out, please hit him up on email. His will be kurt@boondockshunting.com, and we'll be putting all her emails in the link below.
Also, if you guys know anything, any places up anywhere in Jersey that have snakehead fishing, any snakeheads in there, please email us. Let us know. We definitely want to get out there and hit them up. I know a couple lakes down South Jersey, but I would like to see how far up north they are and how far they've come in Jersey. So if you have them in the lakes near you or rivers by you, let us know. We'll be looking to come down and check them out and see if we can catch a couple.
Yeah, and we'd be glad to fish with you guys also.
Yep.
So.
Oh yeah, just let us know. I mean, if we could work in a day where we'll all show up, we'll throw you on the Instagram page and give you guys a shout out, and definitely appreciate it. You guys have a couple spots.
Definitely. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. Everyone, have a good night.
Have a good one, everybody.
Take care.
Kurt.
See you soon.